Hi Ladysmith and area friends, I'm PJ from Ladysmith Parks and Recreation and Culture. Thanks for joining us today. Today's movement activity is going to be yoga fitness. This class is suited for pretty much everyone that wants to get a little bit of a stretch in. We're going to focus today on a little bit of breath awareness so that we're going to hopefully decrease our stress a little bit with these stressful times that we have around us. And also, if you've been sedentary, sitting on the couch or sitting at the computer, or maybe even active, running or jogging or hiking, I think doing some stretches that'll focus on the back and the spine and the hips, I think that's going to be a good start today. So so for safety's sake, checking the link below for the physical activity readiness questionnaire, so you know that you're safe to participate in the class today. Equipment needed, not too much, just a yoga mat if you have one. And if you don't, I would recommend some carpeting or a rug that doesn't slip, so if you want a little extra cushion for that. So let's get started. So I'm going to be standing nice and tall towards the front of my mat. I'm nice and tall, my shoulders are back and down. I'm lifting up through the crown of my head, and I'm opening up my chest. Now if it feels right, close your eyes and deepen your breath. We're just going to focus a little bit on breathing here. Inhale through the nose, nice and deep into the belly. Stretching out through the rib cage, opening up the back and filling the chest. And exhale, nice and deep into the belly, and exhale. And while you focus on that breath, nice and full, bring your awareness down into the feet. Make sure the feet are grounded. The joints are stacked. You have your knees lined up over your heels, your hips over your knees. You're nice and long through your spine. Tail is reaching down, the crown of the head is reaching up, and you're creating some distance between the ears and the shoulders. Opening up the chest, pulling the shoulders back, continue to breathe. Nice and full and deep. Take a few more cycles of breath, however many that you need. And when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open, come back into the room. Good. Let's take a big breath in and bring the arms up. Inhale, arms come up and over the head, or as high as you comfortably can. They don't have to come all the way up. Exhale down. Inhale up again. Nice and full and deep. And exhale down. Good. Let's try a couple more. Inhale up. Deep into the belly. Exhale, bring it down. And one more time. Inhale up. And exhale down. Good. Let's do some shoulder rolls. Front to back. Big shoulder. Circle front to back. Opening up the chest. Good. Let's do a couple more. Two more. Let's do two more. Good. And big breath in, arms up. Inhale here. And exhale, I'm going to bring one arm over into a nice long side stretch. Exhale. Inhale up again, and over to the other side. Good. Stay nice and long and tall. Inhale, and exhale, bring the arms down. Good. Let's take it in the front. Open up the chest, inhale, and exhale, round the back. So what you're doing here is you're moving a little bit more of the spine, soften the knees, and round the back. Open up, inhale. Good. So then work it within a range of motion that you're comfortable with. It may not be as big, or it may be bigger. You may be taller. Good. A couple more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, round the back. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. So let's bring the hands down and work on the hips. So I'm just going to roll my hip front to back, warming up through the hip and lower back. Good. Nice and tall. So keep the ribs away from the hips. Lots of length in the spine. No squishing up the vertebrae. Let's do a couple more. And then we're going to reverse direction, so back to the front. Good. Good. A couple more. Let's switch it over and do the other side. So hip circles front to back. Again, nice and tall. Try not to sink into that supporting leg. nice and tall. Good, let's do a couple more. And now reverse direction, and then take it back to front. Nice big hip circle. All right, let's take it a little bit lower down. So let's wake up the ankles, bending the knees, rock and rolling through the balls of the feet. Good, get those toes waking up. Good, a couple more. And one more. Good, big breath in, arms up. Take a big breath in, and then we're going to come forward. So hinging at the hips. So coming part way down, supporting the spine. So you want to use the hands on the legs if you need to. If you're comfortable with this forward fold, you can take it all the way down. Belly to thigh, chest to knee. Relax the crown of the head. Nice and long and lengthened. Take a couple of big breaths in here. And nod your head like you're nodding no. Nice and slow. Good. Feeling the stretch in the back of the legs and the hips. If the hands don't make it all the way down, you can support your hands on the legs. Slow it down, and let's bring it up again. So soften the knees if you need to, support the spine if you have to, or just a big inhale up and bring it all the way down. Good. Let's try it again. Inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Nice and long through the spine, belly to thigh, chest to knee, crown of the head, relax it down. And this time take a nod like you're nodding yes. So a little forward and back motion. Good. Slow it down and bring it up. Inhale, bring it all the way up, tuck the tail, tighten the tummy, and bring it down. Good. So let's come into a little bit of a balance. We're going to work into tree. It can be low, so you can recover easily. If you have a chair, you can also have a chair handy, or maybe you're close to the wall and you can have something to support yourself if you need to. If not, keep it low, and so you're able to recover. If you can bring that foot up a little bit higher, I'm just going to balance, spread out my toes. I'm going to pull my hip out a tiny bit to make sure my spine is nice and long. So you're going to focus on a spot, find a spot for the hands again. If you need to hang on, then do so. You can bring the hands to heart center, you can bring them up above the head. If you've got some issues with the shoulders, you can take the arms apart. You do what works. Take a few nice full breaths. Good. And when you're ready, bringing the arms down and bringing the leg down and stepping it back. So what I'm going to do is I've got my toes facing forward toward the front edge of the mat. Good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend that front knee a little bit, not to lunge too far over those toes. You want to keep that stacked. The toes are facing forward. If you need to lift that heel in the back, then do so. You can turn the toes out a little bit to the side as well. Just be careful of the torque on the knee, and you want to make sure you keep those hips facing forward as much as you can. So lift the heel in the back if you need to. Lots of options here. So I'm coming down into a warrior lunge. Dropping the hips, lengthening the spine. If you need to support the spine, stay here. If you want to take the arms away, then you can. You can bring them up above the head, and again, apart if you want to as well for those shoulders. Good. So focusing on every breath, sinking a little bit more down into the floor. Watch for that hip popping out to the side. Stay nice and neutral and long through the spine. Good. If you need to take a break on it, you can take the hands down. Good. So let's release it. So if the arms are up, bring them down. Take that step back forward. I'm going to inhale here, take a big breath in, and I'm going to do a forward fold. So I'm hinging at my hips, belly to thigh, chest to knee, fingertips to the floor. They can be tented, or you can support those hands on the legs, and a little extension here. So I'm just going to lift my head away from the floor, looking forward and off the mat. Feeling that stretch in the back of my legs, feeling it coming up and around. Good. And let's forward fold again. Big breath in, bring it all up. Good. And let's try all of that on the other side. Good. So finding that balance for your tree, grounding your foot into the floor, finding a spot for that leg. So keep it low if you need to, pick it up if you can. Focusing on a spot, aligning the spine, and breathe. Three to five nice full breaths if you can. And then when you're ready, coming out and down, taking a step back and working our way into the warrior on the other side. So find a spot for that foot, whatever works for you. Make sure the hips are facing forward. And you're going to sink into it, bend the knee. Find a spot for the hands. Dropping down into it. Opening up the chest if you can, and looking up towards the sky. Good. And let's release it. Returning the arms, stepping forward. Take a big breath in and bring the arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Hinge at the hips. Belly to thigh, chest to knee. And then when you're there, another little extension again, looking off the mat. Try to draw the shoulders down. Still keep that distance between the ears and the shoulders, even though you've brought the hands forward. Good. And slowly bring it back. Next inhale, bring it up. And exhale, bring it all the way down. Good. All right, so we're going to take a step back. Actually, we'll start with a big breath in. We'll do a forward fold and we'll work our way down into a down dog. So big step back, one leg, other leg follows. The heels are down, the hips are up. So this is what it looks like from the side. I'm working my heels towards the floor. I'm taking a nice flat back here. If you need to, soften those knees because the hamstrings are a little tight. You want to focus on making sure that you've got a nice long spine. If you need a little bit of cushion, you can roll up your mat or use a towel for a little bit of cushion for the wrists. Again, nice and long. Imagine somebody's got those hips and they're pulling you back, and those heels are going to go to the floor a little bit more. Good. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a leg up. So pick a leg and reach it all the way up. Try to stay balanced on those three limbs that are down on the floor, supporting you. And what I'm going to do now is open up that hip and let the heel flop over my bum. So I've kind of stacked my hips now, turning out to the side, getting a stretch through the hip flexor. Good, let's release it, turn it, and bring it down. Now let's take this leg and lunge it forward. So take a big step forward here, come into a nice low lunge. If you need to modify, you can drop down on that knee if you want. So I've got a nice low lunge here. My knee is stacked over my heel. And I'm going to add a little twist here. So I'm just going to open up towards that front knee and reach to the back. Good. Keep a nice long spine. Slowly return it. Let's take a big step forward, back leg to the front. Back into that forward fold. And then let's bring it all up again. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we've got one more side to do. Inhale. Exhale. Forward fold. Good. Soften the knees. The other leg's going to go back. Big step back. And then the right leg follows. You're in the down dog. And nice long stretch here. So remember that side you didn't do. You're going to lift that other leg up. three-legged dog. And then turn and bend the knee and get that stretch in the front of the leg. Taking breaks when you need to. You need to come out of it. The hands are getting tired. Come on back. Take it down. And you're going to take a big step forward. Bring it down. And then we're coming out. Ta-da. Good. When you're ready, bring it in, bring it forward. Good. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to work my way into a plank. Now, there's a couple of options here. You can take it to the elbows. You can take it down onto the knees. You can modify if you need to, or you could just take a break. So we're coming into the plank, nice and long through the spine, shoulders are back and down. Good. Now if you want, we're going to try and turn it into a side plank. So remember the options. If you're on your knees or your elbows, you can still take it to the side. I'll give you an example here. Here's your side plank. Here's the option if you want the legs to be straight. Joints are stacked. Good. Nice and long. Good. All right, let's take it forward again. Down onto the knees and pull yourself back like you're going to come into a child's pose. I'm just going to get a little bit of a stretch through the hips and the spine here. Imagine there's a marble on the floor. And I'm going to take my nose and roll that marble off the mat and up and back and around. So working with your breath here. Inhale as you come up. And exhale as you round. Remember to take a break. If you've done enough of these, you can just hang out here. Let's try one more. Inhale, open, and exhale, round. And let's give the back a little rest in child's pose. You can make a fist with your hands if there's not enough of a rounded back for the head to get to the floor. You can also just drop the head down and bring the arms to the side. Do what works. The arms can also stay out in front. You choose. Pull the belly in, reach the tail down. A couple more cycles of breath, and then we'll come up and try that plank on the other side. Good, so find a plank that works for you. Open up the chest, looking forward, nice flat back. And let's take it to the other side. So you're in the side plank. You can stack or stagger the feet. Remember the options. You can take it from the knees as well. Good, let's take it back and forward. Good, knees down on the floor. Push the hips back like you're coming into that child's pose, and let's roll the marble again. A few more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, round the back. Working with your breath. Lengthening the spine. Good, let's do one more. And in child's pose. Let's take a little rest. And when you're ready, bring yourselves up. And we're going to sit ourselves down. Knees are bent. And I'm just going to rock and roll side to side, kind of like seated, and windshield wipers across the windshield. Good. Good, so let's take it all the way over, and I'm going to roll myself down onto my side for a stretch. So let's go this way, down and over. Knees are bent, nice and long through the spine, so stack the joints. Imagine that you're up against a wall and those hips aren't going to shift, that top hip isn't going to shift off the bottom. Nice and long through the spine, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up that top arm, open up and look away. Good. Pulling up through the pelvic floor, bringing the belly button in and relaxing the shoulder down. And you can work with your breath here. Inhale into the spine and exhale, belly button in and shoulder down. Good, so let's take it all the way over to the other side. So for the spine, I would say move the upper body first and then move everything over so you don't just drop the hips down on the other side. You have everything stacked. The hips and the legs would be the heaviest. So the easier part to move would be the upper body. Inhale, open, and exhale as you come down. I like to have my hand on my knee to remind myself to keep those knees stacked. Watch out for that top hip sliding away. Let's take everything back so the arms come around and roll everything down onto the floor now. So you're nice and long through the spine. Let's give yourselves a nice long stretch. So long arms, long legs. Let's do some wrist and ankle circles. And then go the other way. So let's just do a little head to knee. So I'm going to bring one knee up, wrap my arms around, bring my head up to try and reach my knee as you exhale. And then you open up on the inhale, stretch it all out again, and then do it on the other side. Try not to use the power in the arms to pull on the leg. Try not to pull. It's more of an extension and a lift through the spine. Good. Let's try one more each side. Working with the rhythm of your breath. Good. And then when you're ready, bring your arms down to your side. We're going to work a little bit on breathing. So get yourself comfortable. You can keep the knees bent. You could, if you have a pillow handy, you can use that for support under the knees. Or if you do prefer the knees bent and you don't have anything handy, just let the knees swap together and they kind of self-support each other. Also, if you're comfortable, you can come into relaxation. Just let the legs flop out to the sides. Make sure there's lots of distance between the ears and the shoulders as you're coming into relaxation. Before we get there though, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and work on a little breathing. So your eyes are closed. You're going to take a big inhale. We're going to count for 4. We're going to hold for 4. And then we're going to try and exhale for 8. Now, if you have some concerns with your blood pressure, you can just continue to breathe, make something work for you. But if you want to join me, I'll count. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold. And exhale. 3, 2, 1. Nope, we got 4 more. 3, 2. Let's try that again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Try it a couple more times. One more round. Good. Now just soften your breathing, keeping your eyes closed, relaxing the face, relaxing the eyes, relaxing the jaw. And try and take that relaxation that you're creating down through the neck, the core, the arms and legs. Take a few more cycles of breath. And then when you're ready, slowly coming back into the room, blinking those eyes open, taking yourself over to one side, so rolling the knees into the chest, and then over onto your side, and then up into a seated position. I hope you enjoyed our little yoga fitness workout. Thanks for joining us. Stay healthy, wash your hands, and #isolation recreation.